Hey YouTube. So I'm here to record Haves and Have Not Season 4, Episode 9, Praying for Light. Quickly, before I get into that, something I found interesting, maybe I'm just late on getting this news. Candace from the show, whose real name is Tika Sumter, she's actually dating Justin, the police officer, in real life. And Erica from the show, whose real name is Priscilla, is actually dating Mitch, like Mitchell Malone from the show in real life. So I thought that was interesting. Anywho, let's get into the episode. So it starts off where it left off, where Jim is telling Catherine, "Don't say anything. The police are coming. Actually, just let me talk to them by myself." And she's like, "Boy, bye." We all know that Catherine is just like on a tangent right now, and she is unfiltered and she is ready to incriminate anybody, including herself. So the detective George comes into the house, and then he takes a seat and he's like, "Wow, your house is so lovely." And they're like, "Oh, thank you." And he's like, "Oh, the last time I was here, you had four chairs right here. Now you have three. Do you mind me asking what made you make that change?" So, of course, he's just like fishing for information at this point. And she's like, "I just did some redecorating. A new style came out." And he's like, "Oh, okay, whatever." He's like, "Man, I mean, this is a really nice house if these walls could talk." And she's like, "Well, actually, we plan on selling the house. So would you like to buy it? You know what? Cut the crap. Get to it." And he's like, "Okay, okay." Now, so do you mind me talking to you actually in private, Mr. Cryer? And she's like, "No, whatever you say to him, you can say right in front of me. I'm not going nowhere." So he's like, "Okay." So he pulls out an envelope and he said, "I wanted to talk to you about these pictures." Now we all know these are the pictures they confiscated. They confiscated from Candace's house when they had the warrant and they found the pictures. And of course, they are the blackmail pictures of Jim, like basically looking like a sex slave with all these different people, men and women. So he's looking through the pictures and like his mouth has dropped, like, oh my gosh. And Catherine is getting a kick out of these pictures. She's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. We never tried this position, baby." Like she's being funny. So he was like, I mean, it is what it is, what it looks like. Like it's from Candace Young. She blackmailed me. That's how she got 7.4 or whatever, how much she got, $1 million. And that's what it is because she has these pictures. And then no, Catherine was like, "I knew it was something because why would you give the girl that much money? But she got you really good." So George, the detective, is like, "Why didn't you just say something to the police?" So Jim said, "Well, it was in the middle of my campaign when I was running for governor, and so I didn't want to say anything at that point because we all know how badly that could have went for my campaign. So I decided against it." So George was like, "Okay, very well. Um, well, basically." We're here because we need your help with her. Now, we found some evidence at her house that we think we could pin on her, but Veronica is her lawyer, and Veronica basically has a loophole, a way to get her out of this. So, but if we can get you, like, do you know where she is, for one? And then he said, "No, I have no idea." He was like, "Well, if you could find out where she's at, wear a wire and get her to admit to the wrongdoing she did to you, it will show that she is capable of killing someone. Like, do you think she is capable of killing someone?" And he was like, "That girl is capable of anything." So he's like, "Okay, well, I would hope you could do that for us." And Jim was like, "Hold on. Why would I do that for y'all, especially when I already have a pending case?" And then George is like, "Well, I mean, as far as I know, I have the only copy of these photos for now, and I surely wouldn't want them to randomly leak to the public. So I'm thinking, now you blackmailing people?" So Jim is like, "Look, just let me think about it. Like, just I will get back to you. Let me think about it." He's like, "Very well." So George leaves. Then when he leaves, Catherine is like pissed off to the highest level of festivity. She is like, "This girl has blackmailed you. She got these pictures on you. She done got all this money from you. Why is she still living? Because if this was you years ago, like she would have been cut, dead. Like, it is what it is. But you're still letting her live. I think you have real feelings for her. Do you love her or something? What is up with you? You need to get it together. Like, you don't take care of business with nothing. I mean, Catherine is nagging, 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 nagging. And he's just sitting here thinking to himself, and he's like, I'll handle it, whatever. And that's when I thought to myself, she would have been dead years ago. He really does like actually care for her as much as he wants to admit it or not. And I kind of think Candace cared a little bit for him. Whatever the case. Next thing you know, we go back to like the motel where Candace and Hannah and Benny are. So of course we see Candace gets up to try to leave the hotel again. She gives little Quincy a kiss. She starts to walk out and Benny's like, don't even try it. Like, no, you're not going nowhere. Where you going? And she was like, I don't know, but I got to get out of here. And then Hannah's like, you should be going to go turn yourself in. Actually, both of y'all should. And they're just not paying her no attention. And she's talking about, oh, and I pray for y'all and I pray for myself and everything is prayer, prayer, prayer. You know how Hannah gets. So then um, Candace asks Hannah, and she starts calling her Hannah. Hannah, does God answer all your prayers? And she was like, yeah, all of them except for one. And that one prayer is to bring you into the kingdom. And then so she's like, well, I actually have a prayer of my own, you know. And then she's like really like mocking Hannah, like, Lord Jesus, I'm coming to you right now. Like she has this like old like Baptist voice on. And I'm praying for you, Lord. I'm praying to you, Lord. And I'm praying for the Lord to come down here and to tell my mama who my daddy is. And so she's Hannah is like, and then so then Candace turns to Hannah and she's like, so can you tell me that? Can you answer that? Can you tell me who my daddy is? And Hannah's like, no, I cannot. And she's like, right. So of course that is something that Candace is still salty about, which is why her and her mother have such a like chaotic, hectic, unhealthy, toxic relationship. Okay, so Hannah's like, did y'all kill somebody together? I mean, y'all need to just go ahead and tell me. Of course, they're still not telling her anything, but she's gonna keep trying to ask them. So, she was like, you know what? I gotta go. Benny is like, Mama, where are you going? You're not going to like turn her in, are you? Are you turning us in? She was like, look, I gotta go. I'm leaving. And he was like, but Mama, she's like, let me go. So then Candace is like, when Hannah leaves out, Candace tells Benny, I know you don't think I'm staying here. Sit here and stay here while Chico turn me into the police and they come here and pick me up. Oh, no, no, no. I'm leaving. And he's like, chill out. Like, I have faith that she's not going to go to the police. She's not. And so she's like, yeah, okay, watch. I'm going to leave. Okay, so next thing you know, it takes us to a restaurant where Erica and David are out to dinner. They're smiling in each other's face, really enjoying each other's company. And then Erica's phone starts ringing. And generally she wouldn't answer it, but David insisted that she answer it. So she like walks away to go answer the phone, and it's Candace. And Candace is like, where you at? She's like, oh, me and David are actually out to dinner. She's like, and you answered the phone? She's like, yeah, because, well, I wasn't going to, but he actually told me to go ahead and answer it. And she's like, oh, well, that's good. Well, did you tell him who you were talking to? She's like, why would I tell him that? She was like, well, did you say it was your sister or something? And then she's like, no, trust me, it's fine. So she's like, okay, well, look, I'm stuck in this hotel. Benny won't let me out, but he has to go to sleep at some point. So when he goes to sleep, I'm going to need a favor from you. I need some hair, some clothes, and probably a little bit of quick cash. And then Erica's like, okay, do you have a new job to do? Which we know is like playing these men out here. So she's like, actually, I'm scoping out somebody at your hotel, which we know is the guy that's running for president, which I told y'all she was gonna do this job for Oscar eventually because she needs the money. So she was like, actually, your hotel is a lot nicer and the clientele is a lot higher end at your hotel than mine. So I think I'm going to come there. And she's like, okay, that's a good idea. But me and David might be back there tonight. So can you be sure to like not be there at the same time as us? And Candace is like, well, actually, if you could just leave those items in the lobby for me. She's like, okay, but let me know when you're coming because I don't want us to accidentally run into you. She's like, okay, great. Okay, so Candace, that's in the plan for her to go to the hotel later. Next thing you know, Erica comes back to the table. David says, is everything okay? Yep, everything's great. Then David is like, I think I want a stronger drink. How do you feel about that? She was like, well, actually, I would love that. And he was like, oh, you would, huh? So he's just trying to kind of like flirt with her, kind of like some form of like get ready because you already know how I'm feeling. I'm knowing how you feeling. Okay. So then we go back to the hotel and we see Justin and Jeffrey. So they just got done doing what they do, and like Justin is like in awe laying on the bed, and he's like, Jeffrey, I really love this. Like, I never thought I'd say this, but I just really like this. And he's like pouring out his heart to Jeffrey, how much he cares about him and all this stuff. And Jeffrey is looking off into space, like, okay. And so he's like, why aren't you saying anything? And so Jeffrey's like, look, just leave, okay? Because I'm going to jail anyway. So let's stop living in like a fantasy land or like this is a fairy tale. It's not. I'm going to end up going to jail. And then he's like, Justin is like, no, you're not. You don't have to go. Why don't you just blame it on Candace? Just say she did all of it. He's like, but I can't because she didn't. Like, it was the both of us. And he's like, yeah, but they don't have to know that. And Jeffrey is like, I'm not doing that. And so Justin is like, she would do it to you. He's like, look, I'm not doing that. So then he checks his phone and he sees that he has a text from Wyatt that he's in trouble. So he's like, oh, I gotta go. A friend needs me that's in trouble. I really gotta go. And so Justin is like, no, don't leave. I'm coming with you. He's like, Jeffrey, like, boy, you ain't coming with me. And he's like, yes, I am. I'm a police officer. I can help. So he's like, whatever, come on. Okay. So it goes back to the next scene, and we see like Hannah like knocking on a door to get inside of somewhere that's dark inside. And this is when we find out she actually left the hotel to go talk to Ward. How she knew where he was at, I don't know. But whatever guy answered the door, he was acting all big and bad and macho with her. She was like, boy, move. Do you want me to tell your mama? I know you. Like, you was a kid in my neighborhood. Like, it takes a village to raise a child. I help your mama. What are you doing? So he's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. He moves out the way. Ward's like, let her in. So she like, it looks like it's like a mob moment at this point. Like, Ward got all his boys around him. He's sitting there like the room is dark, but he's just sitting at a table and there's a light above the table and he's smoking. And so Hannah's like, boy, you better put that out. You know better than that, not in front of me. So he's like, out of respect, he puts it out. Next thing you know, she was like, I've been hearing around, I've heard it around here, and I don't know if it's true, but I'm just gonna ask you straight up, do you have it out for Candace? So he was like, she did something really bad to me, really bad. And then she was like, okay, I understand that, but you know that's how Candace is. Like, it's not just you. She's done really bad stuff to other people. Like, and then what's his face? Ward was like, I'm trying to figure out why you even care. Like, y'all don't really have a relationship. She's like, at the end of the day, as bad as she is, that's my child. I don't want anything to happen to my child. Like, just leave it alone, please, because what you mean by handling this situation, I'm scared of it, okay? So just cut this out. Like, the police are gonna get her anyway. She's gonna go to jail. Just let the police get her. And he was like, I hope that they get to her before I get to her. She crossed me, and we got a code, and she can't cross me because the code is you cross me, like you die basically. And then Hannah was like, but why do you have to kill her? He was like, because we have a code and that's what it is. I'm gonna look you in your eye and tell you that's what it is. So then like Hannah like flips out of nowhere and like leaps up from the table and grabs his face and was like, why do you have to do this? Just stop. Y'all gotta stop the madness. And he was like, I will right after I find her. And he was like, you better hope that the police get to her before I do. And she's just like freaked out, like shaking at this point, like, as much as this child don't care for me, as much as I really don't like her, I love her. That's my child. This dude is really after her and he's really gonna kill her. I gotta gather my thoughts. Okay, so whatever the case, she leaves. And of course, I knew this was going to happen. The moment she left, he turns to the guy standing next to him at the table. He said, follow her because she's going to Candace. Like, follow her because she's going to her. So he's like, okay, I'm on it. He leaves. Next thing you know, it goes to the scene with Veronica. So Veronica comes into the house. Melissa's sitting on the couch. And then Veronica says, is Jeffrey here? And Melissa's like, nope. And she's like, dang it, I told that boy, okay, I'm going to call him again, whatever. And she's like, did you talk to your parents about me missing the engagement party the other night? I'm so sorry. How did they take it? And she was like, they were fine. So she said, um, so then Melissa says, well, it's okay if he doesn't come home. Like, he doesn't want me, right? And she's like, what do you mean by that? She's like, he just doesn't want like me. Like she couldn't say he doesn't want women because Veronica would have snapped on her because she's in denial. So she's like, no, you make him want you. Actually, you have stubble on your legs. I think tonight is going to be a shave night. You need to shave your legs. Of course, the man's not going to want you with hair on your legs. Like, you need to make him want you. And she's like, well, actually, I did need to talk to you about something, about my father's medical bills. You didn't pay them this month. And she's like, you need to get Jeffrey to act right. Maybe if you shave your legs and you can get them back into shape, then maybe I'll pay your father's medical bills. So you're gonna have to be on your game and I'll be on mine. So whatever the case, Melissa is like, okay, whatever. She goes upstairs to shave. She's like in a bad mood, but you already know what you got yourself into with Veronica. So then Veronica goes upstairs to her computer, logs onto something, and of course, the vase that she gave to Erica, luckily Erica didn't keep it in the room because the vase actually had a camera inside of it because she wanted to record everything about Erica. And David had her put it outside of the door. And so she's like, oh, David must know me so well. Whatever, I'll find a way to get to her. Okay, so next thing you know, Hannah, we see her driving. She drives up to the police station, but then she thinks about war and the conversation they just had, and she decides to drive past it. Now, I don't know if she was going to the police station to perhaps turn War in, or if she was going to turn Candace in just for her own good so that War wouldn't kill her, or if she planned on turning Candace and Benny in. But whatever the case, she thought about it. She decided to drop it. Excuse me, y'all. Okay, so next thing you know, um, we get to Wyatt's place. So they come inside. Quita and her boo, they are asleep on the bed, just stupid criminals. Wyatt is still like suffering on the couch. Jeffrey comes in to go check on Wyatt, and then Justin comes and he places them under arrest, Quita and the other boy. And Quita like, dang man, I'm like, girl, you just the dumbest criminal ever. And he places them under arrest and calls for backup, and then like has them walk out in a straight line, and the backup's gonna get him. Okay, so meanwhile, like Jeffrey is checking on Wyatt, is like, "Are you okay?" Da da da, and he's like, "Yeah, like they were gonna take all my money." Da da da. Wyatt's in an uproar, and then he's just making sure he's okay, and he's like, "I don't know." They were like touching each other, but really it's just because they were concerned, and so Justin just snaps like, "Why you touching my boo like that? Like, no, like." Jeffrey, get over here. Like, why is he touching you like that? I'm like, Justin, dang, calm down. Like, you whipped already. So Jeffrey is like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm making sure he's okay. He's like, no, he just admitted to trying to buy drugs from them. No, he's gonna go to jail too. And he was like, Jeffrey's like, I'm not gonna let you take him. He's like, what? So you're gonna choose him over me? He's like, what are you talking about? Like, Wyatt is not even gay. He was like, I can't tell by the way he was touching you. You know what? It's me or him. And I'm thinking, Justin, like, come on now. Like, you really don't want Jeffrey to make this decision. And Jeffrey is like, I'm not going nowhere. Like, plain and simple. So next thing you know, Justin and Jeffrey start fighting. Like, because Justin is so like jealous and mad, they start fighting. And then Wyatt gets up like, dang, you ain't gonna beat up my friend. So Wyatt jumps on top of Justin. They're going back and forth like they're all tussling. And then the gun like flies across the floor, and Jeffrey gets it and he puts up the gun to Justin, like, chill out, like, calm down. We all know Jeffrey wasn't gonna shoot Justin. Like, the whole situation just needs to calm down. But bad timing, a police officer walked in, so it looks like Jeffrey is about to shoot a cop. So the police officer, of course, his first instinct, I'm just gonna shoot this man, like, because I have to save his life. I'm not gonna try to talk him down or anything. I'm just gonna shoot him. So he shoots at Jeffrey. Now I don't know if he shot past him, but whatever the case, we hear boom, gunshot, and then everything went black. So we shall see what happens in the next episode. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out at mrsblogaholic.com. Bye.